We're on page 394, Moving Objects in Perspective, and I have to admit to you, this section has given me a real challenge. I had trouble with it. In fact, I had so much trouble with it that I had to go back in and redraw the bottom of this stand. I could not get anything to work. Nothing would stick to the perspective planes like it was supposed to. I had all kinds of issues with it. So if you end up with the same thing, dump it, start over again. It's about the easiest thing that you're going to be able to do with it. So with that being said, I'm going to go in and underneath my perspective grid tool and picked up the perspective selection tool. You have to hold down your Alt key. You might want to hold your Shift key at the same time, making sure you're picking up, working on the right side of the grid. You're going to pick up that right side of the pedestal, and you're going to hold down the Alt key and the Shift key, then click and drag straight up, aligning that with the top of your box, with the top of the grid there, and let that go. You're going to use your selection tool, this thing, keep on that perspective selection tool, and you're going to drag down. And this is where, when I had problems, it first showed up, was trying to do this, and just drag it down until it meets the top of the other rectangle. Well, yeah, whatever, it was the original rectangle. Then go and change the color of this. Now what you're going to find out when you change the color, we're going to change this to box 1, and mine actually went to the front. I'm kind of surprised it did that because normally this will shift to the back. If yours comes up behind all of this, you can go into Object, Arrange, Bring to Front. The shortcut key on that is to hold down your Control key and click Control Shift and right bracket, and that will bring it all the way to the front. So who knows how this is going to work, because this is interesting. So again, reselecting this item, I'm going to hold down my 5 key. Now it didn't seem to work for me using my number pad, although it should have, but the 5 key, holding down the 5 key on the standard keyboard, and click that rectangle and drag it a little bit left. Now that should move it along the perspective grid. So where you're wanting to take this is back to create that pedestal, or that look of being a pedestal. And now it's shifted to the back for me. So let me again Control Shift bring to front by hitting the right bracket, and now I have moved that where it is supposed to be. Still using that perspective tool, I want to drag this side, click and drag, come on, click and drag this back to realign it with the center of my box. And I also want to drag the right edge in from the edge, so let's line that back up with my grid. So now we have the one side freestanding, and it's aligning with our grid marks, so the perspective is good. The next thing we're going to do is to hold down your Alt key, and this I'm going to break up. They have you doing this pretty much in one step, but it's not working so well. So I want to hold down my Alt key first of all, and click to drag and clone this to the next grid. So I now have the clone, but I want to move this and place it on the other side. So in order to do that, you can do this all at once. To me it was awkward. It was kind of cumbersome for me to hit both of these. So now that I have created that other panel, I want to move it to the other side, and to do that I'm going to click and drag and then hold down my 1 key, because you have to have it moving in order to make that change. So now I can actually slide that right into place and have that match up. Now the height on that may be a little off, so just, well, you're still with your uh, perspective tool, you're going to just drag that in and make that match. And where I actually think I want to go a little bit taller with both of these sides, I can make my adjustments as I see fit. Selecting that left side, I want to change the color of that to box 2. Well, this is selected. I want to do an edit copy and then an edit paste in place, which should bring that to the front. I'm going to resize this and recolor this. I want to bring this in a little bit from the edge on both sides. And I'm going to recolor this with box 3. Hallelujah, we made it through that section. So before anything gets mucked up, and actually I just want to do a slight tweak on this because I see I have a small gap here. So let me make a slight adjustment to bring those two sides so that they're actually really sitting together. And with that, I'm going to save. Something else that we can do with this is to put some type in and put that into perspective. And so we're going to move to the design elements layer again. We really love design elements layers. And select that group of coffee beans that's on the side. In the toolbar, you're going to pick up your perspective selection tool, and we're going to choose the left grid proxy over here and drag that onto the left surface of the box. And look at that, it just pops right over there. Get that to align a little bit better. You may want to zoom in for that. There we go. So now I can actually go in there and reposition it and make it fit exactly where I want it to. And I want to adjust the corners so that they fit. So let me pick that up and I'm going to resize this. Well, I thought I was going to resize it. I'm asking quite a bit with mine to get this to match. Let me pause. Okay, so I had to find out that turning off the recording worked for me, and I had to zoom in really tight and work with the corners. But and I actually turned mine into outline view, and then I got everything to work. So you might have to play with it. Get it as close as you can. I'll be happy with whatever you can get on this one. And then you're going to click to drag and clone this. Oh yes, we have to clone it. We're going to pick up the group and clone it to the right. Remember, you're going to hold down your Alt key to clone. Well, let's see. Why is it doing that? There we go. Alt key, clone that over. So let's pull it to the right. I'm going to drop it down and then, whoa, and then I'm going to pick it up and start moving it again. And this time I need to hold down the 3 key to move it to the right perspective. And hopefully it'll go into place a little bit easier. Was right there. Drop it in. And again, wasn't planning to use the scissors. Let me go in and try and nudge this just a little bit. Get it in the right place. Again, get yours as close as you can. I'm not expecting miracles here. It's a little bit boggy, a little bit touchy, so kind of the best you can do, and I'll be fine. Close enough. Again, we're going to adjust everything to try to get it to fit as best as you can. Then we're going to choose the left grid proxy, and we're going to drag the text in and place that. It should fit into that brown section, dark brown section, and we're just going to go in and adjust the handles to fit that above the coffee beans. And it'll pop to the grid, and you'll have the box. Now we want to go show the data layer and select the right grid, and we'll be able to drag that data in and pop that on the right side. You can drag the left and right center handles to fit that text in and get that where it looks good. We need to make a change, so you will see in here we have edit perspective and we have edit text. Click the edit text button and we have a misspelling in there. India is misspelled as idea, so just put an insertion point in there and add the N. Click the arrow button at the top of the document to get out of that. Deselect everything on your artboard now. Click off. You can now delete the sketch and then go to View, Perspective Grid, Hide Grid, and save your file. And you're done with that part, and that's what you're going to turn into me.